Hello and welcome back to the Elsie McClure version. Today we are in Hosea chapter 4. Quick recap. Hosea is during the time of 2 Kings 10 through 20 and 2 Chronicles 23 through 32. Okay, it's also the same time as Isaiah, Amos, and Micah. So lots happening. Israel has a bunch of horrible kings. They're all evil, doing horrible things. Okay? And Hosea is getting prophecy from the Lord. Okay? So, verse 1 of chapter 4. Hear the word of the Lord, O children of Israel, for the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. There is no faithfulness or steadfast love, and no knowledge of God in the land. There is swearing, lying, murder, stealing, and committing adultery. They break all bounds, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Therefore the land mourns, and all who dwell in it languish. And also the beasts of the field and the birds of the heaven and even the fish of the sea are taken away. So, basically God's like, I got a bone to pick with you, Israel. You suck. There is not a singular good thing in you. Everything you do is evil. And all of creation is feeling it. Okay? Verse 4. Yet let no one contend and let none accuse, for with you is my contention, O priest. You shall stumble by day, the prophet also shall stumble with you by night, and I will destroy your mother. This isn't talking about a literal mother, this is talking about a spiritual mother of Israel. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you from being a priest to me. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. They are destroyed for lack of knowledge because you have rejected knowledge. So it's not that they couldn't have the knowledge. They literally said, we don't want the knowledge, and now they're destroyed because of it. And he's like, well, too bad. Now you don't get to be my kids. Into that verse. And since you've forgotten the law of your God, I also will forget your children. So he's saying this ain't one generation, dog. Verse 7. The more they increased, the more they sinned against me. So more kids, the more sin. I will change their glory into shame. They feed on the sin of my people. They are greedy for their iniquity, and it shall be like people like priest. So the people will be like the priest, which he's rejected, right? They feed on the sin of my people. Oh my gosh, they want sin. They love it, right? I will punish them for their ways and repay them for their deeds. They shall eat, but not be satisfied. They shall play the whore, but not multiply. Because they have forsaken the Lord to cherish whoredom, wine and new wine, which take away the understanding. So, what I just quoted, the beginning of wisdom is not, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Drinking and, going and doing idolatry, playing the whore, is what has taken away understanding. And that's knowledge of the Holy One. That's God, right? So he's like, listen, you're going to do these things that you enjoy, and you're never going to be satisfied. It's never going to get you what you want because you have done this. You have forsaken me. Verse 12. My people inquire of a piece of wood, and their walking staff gives them oracles. For a spirit of whoredom has led them astray, and they have left their God to play the whore. So idolatry is what he's referencing every single time he says whore, guys. He's not actually talking about sleeping around. He's talking about adultery. That Israel has committed adultery against God. They've put a different God there. And God is a jealous God. And so he's like, you literally ask wood for answers because a spirit of whoredom. This is one of the few times that a spirit is referenced in things like the spirit of fear, spirit of whoredom. All right, verse 13. They sacrifice on the tops of the mountains and burn offerings on the hills under oak, poplar, and terebinth because their shade is good. Therefore your daughters play the whore and your brides commit adultery. So some context here. The offerings they're talking about here is actually specifically to like Ashmire, because remember, I went and read this information, so I had context to be able to teach on it. And that was the goddess of fertility. And so they're making these sacrifices to a goddess of fertility, right? And that's why he's saying, therefore your daughters play the whore and your brides commit adultery, because they desire to be fertile. They're going around and sleeping around with as many people as they can. Verse 14, I will not punish your daughters when they play the whore, nor your brides when they commit adultery. For the men themselves go aside with prostitutes and sacrifice with cult prostitutes. A people without understanding shall come to ruin. Now you have to understand, guys, the gods that they were serving at this time literally had religious prostitution, child sacrifice, like literally burning your kids alive, okay? You had, you're doing these things for fertility, all these different things. Like, it was evil. Evil. He's not being dramatic. He's like, you literally are doing abominations against your own neighbors. Anyway, a people without understanding shall come to ruin. What is understanding? The knowledge of the Holy One. People who do not have knowledge of the Holy One, people who do not follow Jesus, will come to ruin. Verse 15, though you play the whore, O Israel, let not Judah become guilty. Enter not into Gilgal, nor go up to Beth-Haven, and swear not as the Lord lives. So Judah currently is not doing so bad. At this point in time, really the only bad king they've had is Ahaz, and he's probably not happened just yet. But most of them did right in the sight of the Lord. So the only thing they didn't do is tear down the idols of old. And so that's why some of the kings did end up being not so great. But anyway, so he's like, listen, don't make Judah an accomplice in this crap. Stay in your lane. Verse 16, like a stubborn heifer, Israel is stubborn. Can the Lord now feed them like a lamb in a broad pasture? Ephraim is joined to idols. Leave him alone. Dang. When their drink is gone, they give themselves to whoring. Their rulers dearly love shame. A wind has wrapped them in its wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices. So chapter 5 continues in the same knowledge of this, so we'll come back and read 17 tomorrow. But this is just painting a picture of where Israel was. And it was an abomination. So, yeah. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they have rejected knowledge. Well, technically, I think he's talking to a priest here. He's saying you, the priests, the prophets, you have rejected my knowledge. And now I reject you from being a priest. So it's even it would be like a teacher of the law, right? Imagine you were a teacher and the people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, okay? So your congregation is destroyed for lack of knowledge. Why? Because you have rejected knowledge. The teacher has rejected knowledge. And so now God is saying, I reject you. So this just gets back to not all of you should be teachers, okay? That's it for today. And I don't know. I don't got any questions tonight. But I will see you tomorrow for chapter 5. Bye.